You're listening to the Confidence Within podcast. If you are a successful professional entrepreneur who is nonetheless struggling with the fear of public speaking, then you are in the right place. This podcast is all about igniting your inner confidence, learning to show up with genuine authority and brilliance, and becoming the best version of yourself. I'm your host, Victoria Lesnyansky, and welcome to my show. Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Confidence Within podcast. Our guest today is Alinnette Casiano. Ali is a user experience researcher at Amazon Web Services, and she's also the founder of Growing Your EQ, a consultancy dedicated to transforming leadership with emotional intelligence and AI-driven insights. With a passion for bridging generational and cultural divides, Ali empowers leaders to build inclusive, high-performing teams. A bilingual learning and development leader and doctoral candidate in leadership, she brings a unique blend of empathy, innovation, and purpose to modern workplace challenges. Together, we will dive into overcoming self-doubt, conquering imposter syndrome, and embracing adaptability to thrive in any business environment. If you've ever struggled with confidence or felt held back in your career, this episode is for you. Let's get started. Hi, Ellie. I'm so excited that you're here on my podcast.
Thank you, Victoria. I'm excited to be here as well. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, we have a lot to chat about, and the topic is so interesting. And it's funny, we talked a little bit about this before we started recording, and I was thinking the whole time, I talk about this, but I talk about it from slightly different perspective. So it's going to be very, very interesting. And I think our audience is going to learn so much. But first, let me ask you, what made you become a leadership development consultant?
So it was my own experience of being empowered and mentored throughout my whole career and my life, especially in crucial moments. You need that special advice, that crucial support, that groundbreaking message or knowledge that will get you to the next step, that will get you to grow, that will get you to get where you need to be. So that passion, because I saw from the experiences that I had, I saw how powerful it was and how it shaped me. And I wanted to continue to do that as well, using my education background, my passion for teaching others, showing them knowledge that they might not know of, showing them light, inspiration. That's where it came from.
I love this. I love this. The topic that we are discussing today is so common. So many people struggle with this in corporate world. And this is, of course, the topic of self-doubt. Let's talk about this. How does self-doubt affect your career and your corporate life?
Self-doubt, it's a result of a very known term called the imposter syndrome. Because even though that we have the capabilities, and even though we have the option to learn and overcome challenges, we often have that doubt inside of us because there's a voice that's telling us, you're not going to make it. That's not going to be as you think it's going to be. You're not going to get the results. You're not going to be able to succeed. We're continuously doubting ourselves into if we're going to make it, if we're going to be able to receive what we expect from the work that we put in. It's important when you're in the corporate space, when you're just connected to so many people, teams, stakeholders, and it's very tied to your own success personally, individual journey in the corporate space. So it's tied to the people that you're working with, the organization, but your own growth that is going to be a determinant and a catalyst, even whether you're going to continue to be collecting, accolades, awards, successes, or if you're going to just stop and even gives a room to fear or even stopping and giving up.
Yeah. And this is such an interesting topic. It's literally how you see yourself, which is funny because a lot of times people who have self-doubt, people who have imposter syndrome, that is an incorrect reflection of who they are. People at the highest levels of leadership, people who are experts in their niche, they can have self-doubt just as much as anyone else, even though there is no logical correlation between how they feel and what they've achieved and where they are in their career. So, what triggers this self doubt?
Self-doubt could be triggered by different factors. For example, a past failure that you continuously being reminded of or you think about. It's in the past, but you often think about it. Or maybe past criticism that you once had. Also, the unrealistic expectations of not achievable, not attainable, that could be a factor as well. So it's something that we need to consider if we are doubting ourselves based on realistic expectations, or we just have to rule it out. So that's another aspect. One that I've been battling with personally throughout my career, it's perfectionism, and I'm sure a lot of people will relate. And I understand it because we want to strive for greatness. We want to do the best. We are people that are finding fulfillment in the productivity, in what we've been able to accomplish. So when we talk about perfectionism and how it can trigger self-doubt, it's because if we're not able to achieve that high expectation that we set for ourselves, then we are feeling, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to do this. This didn't result as I expected. Oh no, I don't like this. I'm not gonna submit this proposal. This is not how I wanted it to be. And maybe, just maybe, there was a secret into the scrappiness and the subtleness of whatever you were working on that maybe is a potential trigger for something that you didn't even know because you wanted it to be perfect based on your own expectations. So that one is one that I can very, very intrinsically relate to.
Yeah, perfectionism is such a crazy thing because so many of us, and myself included, I absolutely struggle with perfectionism. I'm always trying to do 100%, 100%, and whenever I do 99, a normal person would be like, well, it's 99, good enough, right? No, no, no. That 1% is going to bother me. I feel like I cut corners. And even though it's only 1%, this is definitely something that a lot of people need to work through because I am constantly reminding myself, I have this new mantra: done is better than perfect. Because a lot of times, our perfectionism, especially in the corporate environment, prevents us from either completing something or starting a project or volunteering for a project just because it's a perfectionism that triggers self-doubt and then we're stuck.
So another trigger can be comparison to others. That's a very common one. Social comparison plays a crucial role in shaping our self-concept and our self-evaluation. And a mentor once told me about we're not going to give paranoia power over us. That phrase has been echoed in my mind after I heard that. Not everybody is in the same place. People can be ahead of us or they're achieving different things. But we are very unique individuals. That's what we call individuals. And if we're able to focus that and shift comparing ourselves to others and just being more self-aware into which are my strengths. Oh, wait, I'm the only one in my team that is bilingual and I didn't thought of that. Oh, but this salesperson got promoted a year before me. It's okay, but let me focus on my strengths. Oh, I'm able to be very, very innovative in these tools and I've received praise about it. Oh, but that person is so good at creating graphic design prototypes. I'm not going to shift that focus and attention to others. Instead, I'm going to intentionally think of, I have these strengths that I often overlook them and actually solve these problems in my team, in the organization, and the people that I'm impacting with my work, that end user, that end customer, the people that are actually getting the benefit of the work that I'm doing behind the curtain, because I'm focusing on how I can leverage on my strengths. How can I learn something new or maybe upskill myself? So comparison is one that we all battle with, but we overlook that my strengths here are the secret sauce to not give comparison room, and then feed more into self-doubt, because if I'm often comparing myself to other people, I'm gonna always be doubting myself, Victoria.
I just wanted to take a quick moment to share something special with you that I know will resonate. If you've ever felt that pang of anxiety at the thought of stepping up to speak in a meeting or in front of an audience, I totally get it. That's why I created a free guide for you, 5 proven steps to boost your public speaking confidence right now. This guide is packed with practical tips you can implement immediately to help you calm your nerves, command the room, and speak with genuine confidence. You can grab it right now at guide.confidencewithinpodcast.com. Again, it's guide.confidencewithinpodcast.com. All right, let's dive back into the conversation. I think this is so true for so many people. Comparison obviously plays a giant role, especially in the corporate environment where you have, so let's say you are maybe a software engineer and it's a team of 20 software engineers and you're constantly comparing yourself to others because you are in a similar position. Yeah. But I love what you said. We're all individuals. And even though you may be looking at somebody else and say, well, this person is so good at this, I will never match up. I'll never be as good at this. Maybe I should try, but I don't know. What you really should focus on, and that's what all you actually said, is you should focus on what makes you you. What are your strengths? What do you do better than other people? And then you can grow that. And that's, that famous concept of the growth mindset versus limited mindset, right?
I love it. And then that's your superpower.
Yes.
What are your superpowers? What are your grows and what are your glows? Well, focus on your glows because you have plenty of them. You just have to find them. If you just look more towards who are you? What are you good at? How can you get better even more at certain skills? So that growth mindset is very, very intrinsically related also to avoiding comparison and silencing self-doubt. And another trigger, the last one that I wanted to share and discuss a bit about, is actually past traumas. It could be affecting the individual in more deeper levels in their psyche. It's something that it's embedded, and something that is often overlooked. It's that there might be aspects that the individual has to heal. And it's something that is very, very deep. It's not something that we can see from the surface, but it's something that people battle with. So it could be a trigger. And they don't often say it, but it's there because they were affected by it somehow. It could be by a family event, or it could be related to a job experience. It could be very personal or professional, but it can be cataloged as trauma because it caused some hurt and it's very embedded in the psyche. And they're battling with that, not because they want to, but because they're in the process of healing. So it's something that is good to have their pin and known so we can identify if we're fighting, which of these triggers we're fighting to avoid self-doubt, to conquer it, to keep it at bay.
Let me ask you this. What I find really tricky is knowing whether you actually experience self-doubt or not. It's not like we see a sign in front of us that says, you by the way, Victoria, experience self-doubt. How do we know as individuals, what are the signs that you may actually sit down, think about it, and say, you know what? I may be struggling with self-doubt.
The first one is indecisiveness. You don't feel instinctively that it's the right way to go. You are double doubting into the decision, into the action, into the plan, into yourself. And you think, oh, maybe I'll do this. Oh, no, maybe I'll do that. But what if? And then you don't even make the first step of whatever you're trying to work around. If maybe it's a project at work, maybe it's an innovation or think big idea. Maybe it's a proposal project. Maybe it's a personal goal that you want to achieve. And you can't make the first step because you can make up your mind into it. So you're indecisive. And if you're an overthinker like me, you think it through very, very much.
So, what I hear is that indecisiveness is number one, but overthinking, which is slightly different, overthinking is number two. When you are literally overthinking every decision, every conversation, everything that you're going through, that may be a sign of self-doubt.
Another one is avoidance, Victoria. There are paths that we often take that are familiar. So if it's a road that you're walking, it's something that it felt familiar. Maybe you were working on a project and it began the same way, or you already work with the stakeholder and you're working on similar timelines and deliverables. And also avoidance. Like, I'm double doubting, and self-doubt is coming into the picture because I don't think this is gonna end well. So I'm just gonna procrastinate and not deal with it.
So avoidance and procrastination would be number three, avoidance and procrastination. Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense to me. And do you have any stories? I'm sure you have some stories from your own experience of how self-doubt manifested itself in your life.
Yes. So self-doubt really, 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 really came into the picture in my life when I decided to make my first ever career pivot. So after near a decade in the public education space, higher ed, private education, I wanted to change. I wanted to get out of the classroom and meet new people and be around other professionals and explore new things. I'm sure many people have different reasons to which they pivot. But mine was I'm a dreamer and I was hoping for growth, and I decided to take a leap of faith, and I decided to exercise self-awareness first. And I wanted to really rely on my strengths and what is it that I'm passionate for. So I became very passionate to mentor other educators for adult learning. So I decided to pivot into the corporate instructional design space and corporate training. Self-doubt was my daily companion, but I was often thinking, I've overcome so many things in my life, in personally and professionally as well. Coming from a humble background, I'm the first generation college graduate in my family. I was able to complete a master's degree, walking to the university with little financial resources, and just try to keep pursuing my dreams. So whenever that moment came into doing something different and unknown, when you don't know what's on the other side, Victoria, self-doubt will come. This imposter syndrome will whisper. And I was able to come into this new world of the corporate space with an optimistic mindset and a growth mindset. And even though I have conquered a lot of challenges along the way, I always remember that moment when I said to myself, I am going to make it. I will do it. I believe in myself first. And just practicing that self-talk and that self-compassion.
That's a really great segue into giving some advice to our listeners. So we talked about how you know that you possibly have self-doubt. We talked about what triggers self-doubt, how it manifests itself. Now, let's talk about some practical first steps that we can recommend to our listeners to overcome this self-doubt.
So the first step is self-compassion. I think we need to acknowledge more how much effort and investment of our energy, of our resources, of our strengths and talents we invest in everything we do. So we have to be more kind to ourselves, more compassionate, and think, oh no, I'm doing the best I can. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay if everything didn't went perfect today. Tomorrow will be better. I will have other opportunities. Failure, it's a common trait in any professional, doesn't matter their title or their experiences or their big resume. Failure, we all go through it, and it's a learning process. So I think that self-talk and those thoughts that you are letting in into your mind and heart has always to be positive about yourself.
Okay, and I'm going to interrupt you for just a second because here is a thought for our listeners. Because I can see some people thinking, well, how can I even distinguish between healthy self-reflection, self-talk, and self-doubt? Because they're cousins. They feel very close, don't they? The self-talk, self-reflection, and self-doubt. So you just mentioned it, and I just want to put an emphasis on this. Self-reflection should be positive, right?
Everything that's positive, it's welcome. I will get through this. I will make it. I can do this. I believe in myself. I have the strength. I have the willingness. I have the passion. I'm unique. Everything that's positive, it's welcome. One way that has worked for me in my career, and I've been able to see in others and mentor others, is this powerful term called adaptability. Adaptability is the ability that we have to adjust our emotions, our thoughts, and behaviors to changing situations and conditions that are not entirely up to ourselves, but sometimes they are. And then being open to change, being open to new ideas, being open to challenges and approaches. For example, something that has positively helped me use adaptability as a catalyst to avoid self-doubt completely has been seeing this challenge as an opportunity. Like I can tell you about a big project that I will work this year by myself. And when I was given the challenge at first, I was like, this seems difficult. This is unknown. I'm not going to be able to deliver. How am I going to make an impact in this kind of ambiguity? And I'm sure every corporate employee understands what I'm coming from. You have to bring results in ambiguity. How are you going to do that? And then whenever I was given a very, very big challenge, because it was unknown to me, I said to myself, I'm gonna adapt to this change. I'm gonna try to find a solution. And something that helped me was curiosity. The curiosity to see what was going to be the outcome and what was going to be the result that would impact people positively, that end client, that end user, the people that I'm going to change lives with the work that I'm doing. And I was so curious to see how I was going to be able to help with those results. And that helped me embrace that adaptability and see those challenges and changes that were completely unknown to me as opportunities. And you know what? I've gotten the best praise in my career because I was able to exceed expectations. And the secret to that was the adaptability that I was able to apply in everything that I was doing. I was able to build new processes that were not built because the challenges gave me that dopamine of excitement. And I didn't feel tired, or I avoided procrastination as much as I could because I was so driven but the desire of the outcome, even though it was unknown to me, because I was positive in embracing that change.
So what it sounds to be like, if we were to describe adaptability, basically adaptability is your ability to take a challenge and see it as an opportunity and be able to change yourself and your surroundings based on that opportunity.
Wow. Yes. Thank you for summarizing so greatly and simple. Yes, wow. It's inspiring what you just said, because it's just that what I was trying to share about.
But Ali, let me ask you. So, because obviously there is a lot of uncertainty that companies are faced with, especially in this economic environment, political environment, there is a lot of uncertainty. Can you recommend some practical strategies that leaders can implement to foster adaptability, not only in themselves, but also in their teams? Anything that you can recommend?
I think is cultivating a culture of continuous learning.
Mm-hmm.
Not shutting down the excitement from a team member whenever they want to learn and to work with a new tool, not shutting down new ideas, being able to be open to develop your workforce professionally, and then being interested in what they learn. So what about if you encourage the professional development, support it financially and in other ways, and then also encourage them to bring what they learn in and just multiply it with everybody else. Whatever that person learned, they're able to also share with the whole team, and other people get to learn something new. And then you cultivate a culture of continuous learning, you're going to see a workforce that is adaptable, that has a growth mindset, that is bringing new, fresh ideas, innovating, saving money, making more money. So in overall, it's an investment of your interest financially and to your own organization's success.
I think this is a really, really great advice and something that's going to help our listeners go back to work literally the next day and start evaluating what they can do in terms of applying adaptability. Thank you so much, Ali. I really, really appreciate you coming to this podcast, answering my questions, sharing your wisdom, sharing your knowledge, sharing your expertise. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, learn more about your work.
Yes. You can reach me out in my LinkedIn. It's Alinnette Casiano, all together with 2 N's and 2 T's.
Ali, thank you so much again. Really appreciate you being here.
This was wonderful. Thank you, Victoria.
I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Ali. If there is one takeaway from today, it's that self-doubt doesn't define you. It's how you respond to it that matters. There is no limit to what you can achieve when you lean into your growth and believe in your unique strength. Until next time, remember, every challenge is simply an opportunity waiting to be embraced. Take that first step and let your brilliance shine. See you soon. Bye for now.